Hello, you Malty. Magical muggles making maltiness. Yeah. And thank you, Nathan Fragazzi, for the malt mention. Because we've just had a malt mention introducing Ralphie Review 1046 here from the Whiskey Bothy, somewhere in the middle of the Irish Sea, where I'm going to be reviewing the autumn season. Yes, it's just like the Paris Fashion Week. We have our seasonal collection of whiskies, and we're kicking off the autumnal season as we head from summer into winter with something that is very widely available. You will easily find this in travel retail, on Amazon. Yeah, not a problem anywhere. It is well distributed around the world, and it is a generic, mainstream, popular single malt that you're likely to either receive or provide for birthday presents, anniversary presents, retiring presents, or seeing in the new year. This is Benriach the Smoky 12. It's 12 years old. It's bottled at 46%, which I commend them on. And it's a 3-cask matured whisky. It's been matured in bourbon casks, sherry casks, and Marsala casks. Oh my goodness, how exotic. And the carton claims that this is natural cask imparted colour. Right, which I suppose is their way of saying it's not got any E150 caramel colourant in it. I'll let you decide. I've been tasting this regularly for the last week. And it hasn't taken me long to draw my conclusions about it, so I'm going to share them with you, malt mates. This is a Speyside distillery. It's part of the Glendronach Group, owned by Brown-Forman, who own Jack Daniels. So big company, quite a large distillery, producing historically some really interesting whiskies. And a good variety, quite a chameleon distillery. Triple distilled, peated whiskey, smoky whiskey, standard two times double distillation whiskey, and doing a pretty good job of it. I've in fact reviewed a total of 14 times in my career here on YouTube, although it's 15 years, Benriachs. And my last review, number 866, way back in March 2021, which is in fact when I last bought a bottle of Benriach. So there you have it, just to put things into perspective. I gave it, it was the standard 12-year-old, and I gave it 80 out of 100. Which I think was quite a reasonable mark. So let's see if the Smoky 12 is going to do any better. The initial nose poured neat at 46%, so higher than the standard 40%. Malty, raisin, slightly sweet, slightly caramelised toffee note. Sure, I can get notes of the Marsala going on. That sort of almost condensed sherry note that you get. It's generalised aromatic, and I'm getting some reconditioned casks. Now this ties in with the moniker that it has as being smoky. The smokiness is not coming from the grain, it's coming from the cask. You'll find exactly the same thing with the likes of Loch Lomond 18-year-old, which I reviewed earlier this year. Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. Oh, it's really itchy. Maybe I'm coming into some money, I doubt it. And the smokiness is really when they're toasting casks and when they're charring casks to get that burnt black coated crisp interior. The exhaust fusile notes from the burning wood actually gets locked into the fibre of the wood in the cask, and therefore it comes through in what the distillers like to describe as smokiness, but in fact is, in my opinion, it's more cask fusile because it's rarely sophisticated and complex. It's just really a sort of fusile wood, slightly, smoke or chimney smoke, stale chimney smoke note. But it can be, if the casks are blended well, it can work quite successfully because no distillers actually just use wood smoke alone, not that I know of, certainly not in Scotland, to smoke their whisky. It's always in the presence of peat, because the Scotch whisky industry is notoriously conservative in that respect. Now, how about the taste? Neat. Quite spirity. You're definitely getting the Masala casks, are in particular calling the shots. They've blended well with the sherry cask. There's quite a short, sharp delivery up front, and then it fades quite rapidly. I've been looking for the vanilla notes out the bourbon casks, but there's very little going on there. It seems to be quite acrid. Do you know what I mean by acrid? So it's kind of sharp and fusile on the finish, and there's not a lot of finish to it. So it arrives quite briskly. It develops reasonably and then just falls straight down into the finish. So I'm going to add at least 1 5 milliliter teaspoonful of water. In fact, I'm going to add 1.5, because I want to see if I can actually chase off any Scotch mist to suggest that at 46% this has been unchill filtered, which I would like to think was the case. However, the evidence so far in my engagement with this whisky has not really realised that situation. But hey ho, let's soldier on with this. I can tell you right now that if you're new to whisky and you're maybe in a year or maybe a year and a half into your journey and you get this as a gift because you really wouldn't want to buy it for yourself, then actually you're not going to be disappointed. It does have some general characteristics to it, but the actual complexity and, importantly, the signature of Benriach, it's not really happening, to be honest. Now, I've added water to help. That will open it up. It will let it express itself, whatever's there, more freely. So what we're going to get in the nose now, a little bit more of boiled fruit, confectionery, slight plum notes, grape notes, some soft melon notes. You're noticing the sherry on the nose more, Oloroso sherry to be specific. And it's what I would describe as pleasant. On the palate, a much more articulate arrival. There's a little bit of camphor coming through, peppermint definitely, a little bit of green apple, a little bit of gingeriness. The finish has now fortunately taken on a little bit more personality. It is a competent, generalised single malt, which if you are buying a gift for a non-whisky drinker, is going to be perfectly acceptable because they won't recognise it, so it'll be more exotic to them as a present. Malt marks. There we are. 77 out of 100. I'm looking at this glass for a little bit of Scotch mist to tell me it's not been chill filtered. And I'm not seeing any. Can you see any Scotch mist? Here, I tell you what, I'll add a little bit more water, because when you weaken the alcohol, it no longer holds on to the oils from the barley, or the energy, the oils from the cask, and the long chain proteins that come through in a good proper distillation. So I'm adding plenty of water to this. Are we getting any mist appearing? Now, we're just beginning to see a little telltale sign of some misting. Now, what that is telling me, because it hasn't really appeared rapidly in a cool ambient temperature, because it's cooler here in the Bothy as we leave summertime, and I've had to add a lot of water to this now to chase it out, suggests that it's not been so much chill filtration, but extensive filtration has taken place, which is really unfortunately, because it's cutting short the actual delivery of the whisky. And big companies do this to homogenise and increase the brand experience for the consumer. So we really have very much, we have to accept our consumer status here. This is not just, I'm not just pointing at Benriach or Brown-Forman. All the big whisky companies do this, and this is why we're seeing a separation, a very clear separation between the generalised delivery of a homogenised corporate product in the big brands, and the small brands, the new distilleries, the smaller established distilleries, which are the distilleries that people online who know about whisky actually buy and want to talk about, because that's where the excitement is. So please don't buy this bottle for an experienced, seasoned whisky drinker, because they will be polite, but they won't thank you for it. It is simply a competent, modern, ubiquitous, uniform single malt. There is a little bit of Scotch mist, but you've seen how much water I've added. It should be more distinctive. It really, really should. But there you go. This is what you get. It's just an opinion, malt mates. Please don't get upset about it. I'm just delivering an opinion, not expertise. You'll find your expertise elsewhere. Just the fact that I've been drinking whisky for 35 years and I know what I'm looking at here. One final piece of advice is one of my Patreon subscribers called Rob. And my Patreon subscribers, they are the true enthusiasts. They really know their stuff, and there's some very exciting conversation going on in the Bothy Discord channel as part of my Patreon subscription reward. And Rob says Smoky 10 is better, and Smoky Season, which is another Benriach brand, is better still. So if you're looking for a better delivery, go for the younger malts, the younger Benriach, where the signature of the stills, the character, and Benriach has great character if you can find it, we're simply more alive and kicking. So real solid advice from Rob there. Go for the Smoke Season, or if you can't find that, the Smoky 10. But the Smoky 12 is probably your third choice. Right, there you go, just sharing. If you want to pop back again for Ralphie Review 1046 Extras, I shall be telling you about Sam's story with cask investment shenanigans. Right? Shenanigans. It is a huge issue. It is a major embarrassment for Scotch whisky in the making, and I really want to provide just more information, because I really don't want to hear about people who don't know much about whisky getting misled and missold. I'm being careful how I choose my words here. The risk of getting misled and missold into cask investment product opportunities, which some people would consider to be just outright criminal scams. These things do actually happen. We'll see you soon.